Hey guys, I hope everybody's having a fantastic day, whether you're watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening. I'm glad you're here. Firstly, I just want to shout out and thank all the channel members. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you all more than you know. And I want to welcome anybody that's new and invite you, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification. So today, I wanted to go over the 10 top USA made knives, or my favorite 10 USA made knives that have come into my collection in 2023. Um, it's going to be kind of all over the board because some of these are older from 2023, some of these are more recent, but to be quite honest with you, the way I use and carry and handle knives, I feel kind of qualified to give my objective opinion of how I feel about a knife, even if I haven't had it as long as, let's say, another knife. Now, this Hogue Deca is much older than 2023. The scales, however, did come in 2023. It's not going to be on our list, but I figured it'd be a good starter because it's just such a sweet knife now. These are original goats. Uh, Check out original goat scales. These are beauties. I've got both of my V1 Decas have titanium and aluminum scales, and I'm just smitten with them. But anyway, this is going to be my top 10 that came into my collection in 2023, starting with number 10, and it is the Hinderer half track. Now, when I first got this knife, it did have a G10 scale. I did upgrade the scale probably 3 weeks or so after I had the knife, but this is a very small. It's my smallest Hinderer in like shortness. It's not the smallest in overall girth because this has the same thickness as an XM18, but it's called the Hinderer half track. It's a little flipper knife that also has a finger deployment slot that I can get sometimes. Sometimes I can't, so I usually flip it. But it's a MagnaCut blade, very unique Wharncliffe, and I really like it because said Stevie was kind enough to gift me this clip, which is a Lynch clip that he had made for his McNeese, or he was going to get for his McNeese, but it would have had to have been ground. So he knew I had some Hinderers, and he sent it along to me. So I love the deep carry clip. I love the really stainless, or it's titanium, but I just like the stone washed look of the knife, and it's just very, very functional. It's a sharp knife. It is slicey. It is actually on skiff bearings. So I've upgraded almost all of my Hinderers with skiffs. So it's got really good action, perfectly centered. These knives go together and come apart so well. They're so easy to work on, and they're just one of my favorites. So number 10 in this top 10 of 2023 for me, again, all this is subjective, is the Hinderer half track. Moving on, I picked up this knife in early 2023. This is the Little Native, and this is the breast cancer awareness pink one. It was, I think, I don't remember whose exclusive it was, but it was one of the first little knives that came out with S45. So it's S45VN. It is a small knife, but it is a very able knife. It's got great ergonomics. I put these RG rips or RG scales on it that I ordered from DLT Trading. They're like micarta with a burlap micarta in the center. They're black, and I think they'll just age out really nicely. But this knife, as you might imagine, being a Spyderco, having that grind, is super slicey. It's a great little fixed pocket carry or secondary knife. I would even carry it, since I always carry a fixed blade and a slip joint. It could be your primary carry. But for a Spyderco, it's got some of the best action of any of my Spydercos, even though it's a small knife. Um, there's no blade play, and this thing just has fantastic action. So, number 9, we've got the Spyderco Little Native Golden Colorado USA Earth. Then we go to a knife that I had before, but they came out with a new version that I got in early 2023. And this is from my favorite USA manufacturer. They don't make a ton of knives, but this is the TRM Nerd. And this is the Nerd that's still 20 CV, but it's the Holy Nerd. So it's actually got the flipper hole. This knife is on washers. It is also a great fifth pocket carry knife. Fantastic ergos, fantastic blade geometry, great heat treat, just a real winner. You know, the thing about TRM is they offer a lot of different scales for their knives. This is my only TRM with the exception of my Shadow and my other Neutron or Nerd, excuse me. I've got one of the old Nerds that didn't have a hole in it too. And they've just released this knife with a MagnaCut blade. But I do want to one day get titanium scales for this guy. I think titanium scales on the little Nerd would be awesome. It's a great little knife with the micarta. That's the BOA micarta, and it's done really well. As you guys know, TRMs are really easy to swap the scales off of. You don't have to remove the pivot. You just take off these two scales, the clip, and this screw, and you can put different scales on it. I've got about 3 sets for this, but it does need a set of titanium. So coming in at number 8 was the TRM Nerd, which brings us to number 7. Number 7 is another Hinderer that came into the collection early in the year and also came with a G10 scale from the factory, but I picked up a smooth Battle Blue titanium scale, and this is the Hinderer 3-inch XM18 Warncliffe. It is on bearings. It is a Warncliffe. It is much thinner than my XM18 3.5-inch, than my Eclipse, and then my half track. It's got a great choil. It's got a 20 CV blade, titanium handle, titanium clip, very slicey, thinner blade stock than the bigger Hinderers. Fantastic bearing, well, tri-way action. So it comes with bearings, it comes with washers, and it comes with Teflon washers. I have not put skiffs in this one yet. This is one that's still on the stainless steel bearings, but it's a great knife. It carries like a small knife, and it is kind of a small knife, but with that choil, you've got plenty of blade. I love the stone wash. I love the Battle Blue, and this is definitely one of my top 10 of 2023, and that's the 3-inch Warncliffe Hinderer clips. Which brings us, I think, to number 6, which is a knife that I picked up that's not like me at all, but that I really have grown to like, love. I picked this up at NAF sale. This is an Emerson Mini A100. Very unique knife. G10 handles, titanium frame, frame lock with a 154 cm blade. It's got this flipper or this thumb disc deployment. You can't get to the back of it. I can't. And it's also got a front flipper. But really utilitarian knife, very neutral in the hand, very easy to carry, very easy to hold, doesn't give you any hot spots, feels just like a very neutral knife. It's got this V grind, but it's not a traditional V grind. You only got the bevel on one side. So you sharpen up one side, say at 17, 15 degrees, whatever you set it to, and then you just knock that burr off the back. Keep your V, but it's a wonderful knife. It's built like a tank. It's not a fidgety knife. It's on washers, but in terms of a hard use knife, a great knife to have, for EDC or for harder than just EDC. It works well. I really like it. It comes in right in the middle of the list. I think that was number 6, and that is the Emerson A100 Mini, which brings us to number 5. And number 5 was a chunk that I brought in I think February or March of 2023, and that is this particular Medford. This is a Medford. I just failed it because I hit my hand again. That's embarrassing. But I don't do edits. It's a Medford Marauder, midi Marauder, not the slim midi, which is on washers. This is the midi Marauder, which is the same thickness as the full-size Marauder, but it is the shorter stature. So it's the same length as the slim midi, but it's the thicker full-size slabs of titanium and full-size blade stock. This particular knife is an S35VN. It's the plain anode titanium, just the blue, and the plain stonewash blade. I did choose the Tanto on this one because you've got this deep hollow grind, plus this really broad tip. I love the way these knives are made. Again, they're just put together very, very well, in my opinion. The grips and the ergos on these knives are very, very good, and they're just good, overbuilt, hard use knives. I like it. It's came in, love it. It's number 5 for 2023, and it is the Medford Midi Marauder, which brings us to number 4. Number 4 is yet another Hinderer, but this is the Hinderer flipperless Eclipse. This is a knife that I picked up and was lucky enough to get on a drop. They went really, really quickly. It was just the battle bronze. It had, I think, an OD green scale. I found this battle bronze smooth tie scale, and then I also ordered the battle blue hardware and clip just to kind of give it a little bit of, I guess, pizzazz. But this knife is ergonomic perfection. It's got a 3.5-inch blade, very tactical. It is could be on washers, could be on Teflon washers. I run it on bearings. It also does not have skiffs. It's running on its own bearings, but you can tell that it's drop shutty, has fantastic action, doesn't have the flipper tab to get in your way, but you still got this nice area to keep your hand from sliding up on the blade because it is a tactical knife. It is in 20 CV, stonewash blade, um, fantastic detent, fantastic action, and just one of my favorite all-around knives. So I'm going to give it the old number 4, and we'll move on. Guys, this is a very recent acquisition, but it is definitely number 3 and will probably move up from there. This is my little 3.25-inch Spartan harsey. It's the first Spartan harsey that I've got. It's actually the Plague Doctor, which is the pattern that I was after. I like it so much that I may get a full size, even though I feel like a 4-inch blade's too big for me. The action on this knife is fantastic. I love the appointments with the Plague Doctor. Just kind of struck a time in my life that was kind of monumental, and I wanted to get one before they were gone, and so I bought this directly from Spartan. It is on washers. It is a small knife, 3.25-inch blade. Fits my hand perfectly. You've got a really nice jimped poon here, if you want to call it that, where you can lock in. If you were going to use this as a tactical knife, you absolutely could. It hasn't had time to break in yet it's still, I can middle finger flick it. It thumb flicks fantastically well. It's built impeccably well, and I just really enjoy it. Again, it's a new maker that I brought in, or US maker that I brought into the collection. I guess designed Bill Harsey, William Harsey, Spartan Blade Co., and this is the Plague Doctor. I don't know if you can get a look at it there. It says, no, what did it say? Do not fear, my dear. Yeah, I mean, it's something from like old literature. I'm an idiot, I should know. And then it's got a couple of bugs on the back that we all know what those are. Biohazards on the pivot, the little Spartan mark, USA, and then a bug on the reversible clip. So number 3 is the 3¼ inch Spartan harsey, which just for shits and giggles is about the same size as the Hinderer 3" because they're both 3 inches, which again are on the mid-size, kind of with the A100 of these knives. And then we've got some larger ones like this one, which is number 2. This is a very new knife to the collection, but I know that I absolutely love it. It is a milled aluminum handle. I thought it was G10. I bought it as G10. Then I pulled the model number last night on the live stream, and it turns out like it feels, it came up as aluminum. So it's either aluminum or it is very shiny metallic G10. But in either case, it is M390 MK, which is Microtech's little deal with Bowler to make a proprietary steel or something. They tweaked that M390 formula just a little bit. I absolutely love this knife. For me, the ergos are great. I know it's not a practical knife, but it's an absolute Slurpee saver. I've been carrying it since I got it. The clip works great. I have a feeling that before long there'll be titanium clips or titanium scales available for it. Very aggressive. It's got a little bit of billboarding, but nothing bad. It's just got M390 MK, the Microsoft logo, the Borka Blades logo, and then it's got Microsoft on the clip, and you've got these fluted. The stock number pulls them up as aluminum. When you look at it on DLT's site, they come up as where I got it from, G10. It doesn't matter to me either way. I just think it's kind of a mystery, and I haven't wanted to take it apart. You can look in there. I think these are smooth aluminum. I don't see any texture that would make me think it's G10. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. It is an awesome knife. The ram lock, I'd heard about lock stick. I'd heard about the action, not getting good deployment off the flick. I don't know if that was just the MSI, but this knife fits my hand great. It is a very capable knife for any situation that you find yourself in. It's also very slicey. Probably one of the sharpest knives from the factory that I've gotten. That's kind of stoked. The grinds are even on it. It's just, yeah, it's number 2. And I think you'll see why, but it is definitely way up there. It is a fantastic knife. It was not anywhere near the most expensive knife on this group. It was $300. That's what they go for. You can get them in OD green, you can get them in tan, you can get them in black. But that's the Microsoft Stitch, which brings us to the number 1 acquisition this year, and it is the Michael Ziba S5 Odin that I picked up from brother in the community who can remain nameless, but I was with him when he purchased it. I think you all know who that is. The clip says Till Valhalla. You've got all this sculpting in the handle. You've got these ruins, which mean something, because Michael Zebas commented when I posted it that I need to look at it closer, that there's a lot of story here. When I look at it, I find new things like this crow's head I didn't find early on. If you look at this back spacer, it's actually bronze jeweled skulls, and this comes with the doodad on the pouch that is also one of those skulls. So you could literally put a doodad on it right here that looks just like it, but those things weigh so much. I don't know if you can see those guys in there, but that's the coolest back spacer I've ever seen. You got that milled out titanium handle, and then you've got a blade that Jason Knight partners on him with. On this side, you'll see Jason Knight stamp, Knight Knives. this back in 2022, I think, won Tactical Knife of the Year because that's what it is. It is an absolute tactical knife. It is very, very sharp. This paper's bent and shitty. Let's see. But yeah, this knife is very, very sharp. M390, titanium handle, hydraulic action. And without a doubt, the finest knife in my collection. Just the way it's built, the way that it feels, the attention to detail in the handle, the attention to detail in the back spacer, and also the inside of the back spacer. I don't know if you guys can see that. But the back side of those skulls is smooth, but you've got that ruin, whatever that says, in some otherworldly language. You can read it with the blade open. I don't know if you can see that. And then again, you've got the skulls on the back. Just an absolute banger. He made this available to me because he wasn't carrying it. So he made me promise that I'd carry it, which I do. I'm real careful not to whack the clip because, to be honest with you, I want to keep this knife pristine just because it is such a, to me, an art piece that's super functional, that has fantastic ergos, that is, I shouldn't have a knife this nice, and I absolutely love it. So, number one is the Ziba S5 Odin. Number two, the Microtech Stitch. I always want to say Microsoft. Number three, we've got the Spartan Harsey Plague Doctor. Number four, we have got the Hinderer Eclipse flipperless. Number five, we have got the Medford midi marauder. Not the slim midi, the midi marauder, the fat boy. And then we've got the Emerson A100 mini, the Hinderer 3-inch Warncliffe, my favorite maker, and one of my favorite little knives deserves to be opened again, the Little Nerd, super slicey on washers, the Spyderco Little Native, and the Hinderer half track, which really should have been higher in the list. But guys, I'm blessed to have some fire USA made knives. So guys, I appreciate you stopping by. Let me know what you think. Again, this is totally subjective from my collection, knives that I like, just how I rate them, right? Nothing here saying any of these are better than those that I don't have. These are just what I'm exposed to. I love them. I could recommend any of them for different reasons. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do today, guys. Go through, show you my top 10. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope it's not too long. Trying some different content from disassemblies, which don't get watched, to top this and that. And I'm just trying to find stuff that y'all like. So feel free to leave me a comment. I might not reply to it, but I will read it. I love you all. All I ask is you look out for the guy or gal to your left. Please look out for the guy or gal to your right. Look out for each other. Go forward with love in your heart. Choose debate, not hate. I love you all. Peace.